What's up, quadcopter fans? HangerDrone.com. Today I'm going to be doing a video and showing you how to replace the receiver in the V303 Seeker. Now, I think I have a bad receiver. I got a new transmitter. It appeared to be working correctly, and then I started receiving the same error. So what I think is in question is, if I can get the camera to focus, is this little piece right here. On the one inside the V303 appears to be chipped, and that's the way it was sent from the factory. So hopefully this might correct the issue. Now I might run into some snags because this receiver is actually for the old flight controller. You can see it has the JST port coming off here with a servo wire, which should plug into the S4 flight controller. Well, with mine I have the XK new board in there, so it no longer uses the servo wires. It uses an S-bus port. So hopefully I'll be able to just swap out the wires on the old receiver with the new one and be able to plug this in without an issue. So I'll cut back to once I got the top off, so then that way we can start looking inside. Alright, so now we have the top shell removed off the quadcopter. So the next step is that we're going to need to remove the receiver out of there. So just looking at it, it looks like this S-bus cable should match up with the new receiver. We have 3 wires here, which will go here, and then we're going to use this S-bus cable. It plugs in there. As you can see, this has the old cable on there, which would plug into the S4 flight controller. So since I don't have that flight controller, I'm going to go ahead and remove this cable. Trying to be extremely gentle. Remove this cable. So we're going to set this to the side. We're going to keep this because you never know when this might come in handy, especially anything with, you know, an S-bus like this or a JST port like this. Could come in handy in the future. They're not the easiest to find online. So second step is we're going to go ahead and we're going to need to remove the old receiver. And I'll show you a comparison of the two and the issue that I think might be causing my problem. So I'm going to take this little screwdriver here, and we're going to remove these 2 screws that are holding in the receiver. Screw seems to be a little stripped out, but it's off now. I'm going to move this case over to the right hand side. It's kind of getting on my nerves, crawling around. It's in the way. So I'm going to remove the second screw. And now our receiver is loose. And I didn't want that to happen, so the screw fell down into the quadcopter. So I have to get some sort of magnet to get that out of there. I'm going to pull the antenna out of the leg. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the cable like we just did on the replacement receiver. So the cable has been removed. I want to show you a comparison here on these 2 receivers. So it's not the easiest to see, but you'll notice that this chip here is a full square, whereas this chip here looks to be eaten away or some sort of damage to it. Now, they don't look too far off in the comparison, but this one appears to be wore down slightly, whereas this one seems to be in better shape. So, flip them over, check them both for potential damages. And you can see this one here, the one that we're going to replace, has a little bit of solder running over to this cable. It's not quite touching, so I don't think that's really an issue. So we're going to replace them out and see if that will correct anything. I know that this receiver binds with the other transmitter. I don't know why my camera's having such a hard time focusing. So I'm going to get this screw out from down in the battery bay. I'm going to go ahead and pack this antenna down into the leg. I'm going to get one of my screws here. Start pre-treading this in. We don't want to get it too tight, otherwise we won't be able to get the other screw in. So I didn't really see a whole lot of difference, other than that little piece looked a little bit worn down or kind of ate up, which could be causing the issue. Another issue could be is that this is an old receiver for this type of board. I don't know why they're sending them out this way, or they send them out this way. All the newer V303s, they all have the new boards in them with new receivers. Unfortunately, I didn't get one of those, so just gonna have to make do with what I got here. And tighten the receiver down. Don't want to do it too tight so we don't crack, break, or damage the board. And now that we have it in, we're just going to go ahead and plug in our JST plug here. Make sure we got a nice tight fit. And now we have a replaced receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is for now, put it back together, and then we're going to go ahead and test out to make sure that the transmitter and receiver are talking to each other and that we don't have any errors. So I won't tighten all the screws down just yet until we get to that point. Otherwise, then it'll be a lot of work taking everything back off to replace the receiver. So once I get everything back on, I'll go ahead and start the video back up, plug the battery in, turn the transmitter on too as well, and we'll make sure that everything is good to go. Alright, so now we have the shell back on. We're going to go ahead and fire up the transmitter. So the transmitter's on. You can go ahead and set that over to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in the quadcopter. We need to make sure the two of them are going to bind, since we do have the new receiver in there. I'll go ahead and turn the quadcopter around for the binding process so we can see. So we're getting a green red light. And then we're going to wait for a solid green flashing green light. Now this process can take a little bit for it to bind and for the quadcopter to find the satellites too as well. So it looks like it's bound. We'll go ahead and test it out just to make sure. So we're going to go ahead and pull down on our left sticks diagonally. Motor's armed. So the quadcopter is receiving all the inputs. So we can go ahead and turn the transmitter off. Shut our engines off, turn the transmitter off, and then unplug the battery. We're going to make sure we take the battery out whenever we're doing any work on the quadcopter. So then that way you're not supposed to turn it upside down with the battery in there supposedly, because it can mess the compass up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this battery out of here, and then we're going to go ahead and take the battery out. So that's how you replace the receiver on the old style receiver, and this is using the new XK board. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, be sure to leave a like. If you have any questions, put them in the comment box, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for upcoming videos.